In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at an introduction to rotary machining. So this is where we take one of the linear axes and wrap it around a cylinder, and this is only applicable if you have a rotary axis on your machine, along with a compatible post-processor to run any toolpath on this type of project. So this is what we're aiming for, but let's see how we got there. So let's go to File and Close. I'm not going to save the changes here, and we're going to go to Create a New File, and here's how we're going to set up a rotary job. So we're going to set up a rotary job, and it's going to be a length of 12 inches with a diameter of 3 inches. Well, units are inches. In this case, we're going to go for a Z0 position of cylinder axis because you don't know if the material is perfectly flat all the way around on this material. So we can go for the cylinder axis to try and get more of an accurate cut. Our XY datum is the bottom left position, and our orientation is along X, which means the Y axis will be wrapped. I'm going to turn off flip design for the moment. Now, just to illustrate the difference between along X and along Y, depending on your machine, you may have a rotary setup where effectively your material will be standing up, which means we would need to wrap the X axis. So in this case, you would be machining along Y and wrapping the X. But in my case, the rotary setup I have it horizontal, so I'll be cutting along X and effectively wrapping the Y axis. I don't need a modeling resolution higher than standard because I'm not using any models in this. I'm only going to be using text. And as for our material settings, I'll be using Canadian Maple. So let's click OK, and let's have a look at how we're going to create this file. So now that we're in our worksheet, you can see in the bottom left-hand corner of the software here, we've got job dimensions, and you can see our width is 12 inches, but you'll notice the height says 9.4248. Now the reason it's saying that is because it's actually taken the diameter and unwrapped it. So you can see here, this is my full worksheet. And what it's done is it's taken our diameter and unwrapped it as if it was a flat piece of material. So to better demonstrate this, let's pop over to the 3D view. And you'll notice right now you don't see anything. And that's because we haven't designed anything to see. However, if we come up to this button here and we toggle the material block visibility in 3D view on or off, and I'll put it to on, you can now see that I have this cylinder in the 3D view. I can pan this by holding down the right mouse button, and I can pan and have a look around the cylinder, and that's what the rotary job will effectively look like. But you'll notice there's another button up here as well, and when we click this, what this does is it toggles the automatic wrapping in 3D view on or off. So you notice right now we have a flat piece of material, and what the software actually does is it takes a toolpath and it applies it to a flat surface and then it wraps it around the Y-axis that we determined in our job setup. And that's how it achieves a rotary setup for rotary jobs. But with that covered, let's have a look at adding in some text so we can further this tutorial. So we go over to the text tool under the Create Vectors part of the Design tab, and we're going to type in wrapped rotary on a separate line, text. And you notice I've got it in text in a box. Now if I go over to the 2D view, you can see there's a dashed line all the way around my worksheet, and that represents the box that is encompassing this text. I'm going to go back into 3D view, and the font I want is Arial. Now to navigate this menu, you can actually press a letter and it will take you to that part of the font menu. So if I type in S, for example, it takes me to where the S fonts start. If I type in A, it takes me where the A fonts start. And in this case, I want Arial. I want it to be central in my workspace. I want the width to be 12 inches. I'm happy with the height. I don't need to worry about margin size, and I don't want to stretch it. So I'm happy with that. So I can close out this form. So now let's look at creating some toolpaths. So to do that, we need to pop over to the toolpath menu. So let's click on this button here to switch over to the toolpath menu. And the first thing we need to do is check our material setup. So click on Set, and our diameter is 3 inches, XY datum on the bottom left, Z0 off the center of the cylinder because we don't know if the material is even all the way around. No model in this material, and the rapid Z gaps are safe and appropriate for my machine, but do double check these for your particular setup. I know these settings are fine for my machine because I've tested it, whereas you will need to make sure you do the same for yours, and the same applies for the Z gap above material. Let's click OK, and the first toolpath we're going to look at is a pocket. So with our text selected, let's go to the pocket toolpath, and I'm going to set a depth of 0.2 inches. And I'm just going to show you my tool database quickly because I've set up my machine already as a desktop rotary machine. Now I've done this with the machine configuration tutorial, so if you need to learn how to set up your machine, you can do that with the machine configuration guide. But I've set my desktop rotary along X up, which means my post processor will also be populated for my particular setup in this case. But I just thought it'd be good to show you that you can associate tools with a particular machine, in which case I have here. So these are the tools available to my desktop Rotary setup. I'm happy with these settings. Do double check these for your particular setup, and I'm just going to close out of that because I've got the tool already selected. It's an offset strategy, don't need ramp plunge moves, using the climb cut direction. I'm just going to click calculate and let's see what this toolpath looks like. So you can see right now it's not wrapped, so let's go to the automatic wrapping option here, and you can see what that toolpath will look like before we preview it. So I'm just going to turn off a boundary here, and we're just going to have a look at what this looks like as a preview. So let's click on preview selected toolpath. So you'll notice first what the software does is it unwraps the job and it machines it flat. So effectively it machines it as a 3-axis job, then it wraps it around the axis that we defined earlier in our job setup sheet, which was to wrap it around the y-axis. So it's wrapped it around the y-axis and cut along the x-axis. And you can see it looks really nice. We've got a lovely looking text effect on our cylinder here. Now you'll notice I can also move this around using the right mouse click and dragging around. I can also use the option up top here to click the view control to pan my view in different orientations, so you can see it from different viewpoints. And then we also have the options up here to rotate the cylinder in 30-degree increments. So depending on which one you click, you can rotate the cylinder in clockwise or anti-clockwise directions of 30-degree increments. Now I'm really happy with that, but let's have a look at a different type of toolpath. So what we're going to do first is we're going to reset our preview, and then we're going to have a look at closing down our preview and looking at a different type of toolpath. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's close that out, and we're going to come up to our V-carving strategy. I'm just going to unwrap the job, and so you can see what it looks like flat. Turn our vectors back on, and this time you can see I've got a start depth of 0. I'm not going to use a start depth in this case, and a flat depth I'm not going to use one either. I'm using a V-bit, a 90-degree 1 1/4 inch V-bit, and that's the tool I've been testing with and works well for me. But again, I recommend you do some testing of your own and make sure that any tools that you're using are safe and appropriate for your setup. But again, you can see I've got that associated to my desktop Rotary setup. I'm happy with these settings, but again, do make sure that your settings are safe and appropriate. Don't need to use clearance tools, and don't need to worry about these settings here, so we can click calculate and have a look at what this is going to look like. So at the moment you can see what it looks like unwrapped. Let's click on the wrapped or the automated wrapping button, and we can see what the V-carving is going to look like. So here's a rough view of our toolpath, but let's look at it in action. So we can preview that selected toolpath, and you can see again it unwraps the job first, runs it as a 3-axis toolpath, then wraps it again, and you can see we get a lovely V-carving effect which looks really, really nice. Okay, so with our toolpaths finished, let's have a look at actually saving them out. And I don't need the pocket one, so I'm going to right click and delete that one first. Let's close down our preview, and let's come to the save toolpaths icon over here. Now this stage is really important to note that in this box here I've got my machine set up, and you can learn how to set up your machine using the machine configuration guide. But crucially, it is a rotary setup, which means I also have a rotary post processor. Now the role of the rotary post processor here is it's going to take the axis that we have selected. In this case it's going to be the y-axis, and map it to A moves. You can see I've got wrap y2a as my G-code post processor here to use, because if you recall on the job setup sheet we're wrapping the y-axis, so the y moves in the post processor will be mapped to A being the typical move used for rotary G-code. So in this case, it's really important to double check which axis you are machining in. So if you're machining along X, you're wrapping Y, which means you need a wrap Y to A post. If you're machining in Y, so along Y, but wrapping X, you need an X to A post. But it's crucial that you understand that you need to have a post processor that is compatible for your particular machine. So you need to double check if your machine can support wrapped rotary and if it has a compatible post processor before getting to this stage. But I know that mine supports this setup, so I can click on Save Toolpaths, and I'll save it to a obvious location for myself, in which case is the introduction to wrapped rotary text. I'm just going to put wrapped text, so it's nice and obvious as to which G-code this is. Click Save, and now that's ready for me to take to my machine. And likewise, if we actually want to save the file itself, so this CRV file, so we can use it later on and make some edits to it, we can do so. So we need to go to File, Save As, And I'm going to call this one Introduction to Wrapped Rotary Text. Again, nice and obvious as to what it is. And click save, and now that's ready for me to use at a later date. And that concludes our tutorial on how to be introduced to wrapped rotary text. I hope you found it very useful, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.